Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. We'll start with the headlines. Greetings of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos to the custodian of the two holy mosques are conveyed by His Excellency, the Minister of the Interior. Honored by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar presides over Sultan Qaboos University's graduation ceremony of the 26th batch. And overall general expenditure of the state's general budget decreases by 5.7% during the first 9 months of the current year. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in details. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Klaus Iohannis of Romania on his country's National Day. Greetings of His Majesty the Sultan to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, were conveyed by His Excellency Sayyid Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of the Interior, when he was met in Riyadh by His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nayef Al Saud, Crown Prince, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of the Interior of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. During the meeting, they discussed the number of matters of concern to both countries in a number of aspects. The visit comes within the context of strong and distinctive relations between the two countries. Honored by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar, presided over Sultan Qaboos University's graduation ceremony of the 26th batch. The university held a ceremony to graduate 2,930 students of the Colleges of Arts and Social Sciences, College of Law, College of Education, and the College of Economy and Political Science. The graduates have bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees. They will contribute in supporting development march through joining the labor market. Since its establishment, Sultan Qaboos University provides labor market with good cadres. Overall, the general expenditure of the state's general budget has decreased during the first 9 months of the current year, 2015, by 5.7% compared to the same period last year. The Ministry of Finance, in statistics issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information, mentioned that the overall general expenditure until the end of the third quarter of the year, which included current and investment expenditures, contributions and support, amounted to 8,795 million Omani riyals. The revenues were decreased by 35.9% as a result of decrease of net oil revenues as a main factor by 45.5%, which until the end of last September amounted to 6,711 million Omani riyals. The 5th edition of Oman Economic Forum will kick off on March the 5th, 2016 under the theme Oman Arab-Asian Partnership. The two-day forum, will be organized by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in coordination and cooperation with the Iqtisad wal-A'mal company. This came during a press conference held at the headquarters of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry by the organizing committee of the forum in the presence of His Excellency Mohsen bin Khamis Al-Blushi, Advisor of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Advisor and Executive Director of Al-Iqtisad wal-A'mal company. The forum will address Omani-Asian economic relations and will attract Iranian investments into Oman in various economic sectors. It is expected that the forum will attract about 500 participants and will host a group of Asian and Iranian investors. And still to come in our news bulletin. More than 400 photographs from a period of time from Muscat's history are narrated in the Muscat book. Integrating the procedures and all verdicts implementation on sections at the primary court topped the first gathering of section heads of the verdict implementation. More details in the following report by Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai.
Judiciary Administrative Affairs Council organized the first gathering of section heads of verdict implementation under the auspices of Honorable Dr. Khalifa bin Muhammad al-Hadrami, Deputy Chairman of Supreme Court and Secretary General of Judiciary Administrative Affairs Council.
What we can say about this workshop is represent the consequences of the enforcement judgment summit which we did made in last 3 months back, and it's in such a summit or such a workshop we deal with a lot of difficulties.
This two-day gathering aims to develop the various aspects of judgment and to shape the practical procedures of verdict implementations.
We are trying to evaluate our procedures in the courts itself from time to time in order to improve the procedure itself and find a solution for these difficulties.
The event included 2 sessions about blocking properties of debtor at banks and the scientific practice, and they discussed this matter around all governorates in the Sultanate. It is well known that judgment is a very important and sensitive aspect in any country, and this forum came to enhance and develop different matters related to judgment in the Sultanate. Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai, Muscat.
Rejoicing the 45th glorious National Day, citizens of the Wilaya of Barka and the Governorate of South Al-Batana held a celebration on this occasion. The ceremony included a procession that roamed the Wilaya with the participation of 45 horsemen. A poetic night was also held. Two cultural publications were launched in the Cultural Club premises. More details in the following report by Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai.
The Cultural Club, represented by Bayt al-Ghasham Institution for Publication, Journalism, Translation and Advertising, held launching ceremony under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Abdul Mun'im bin Mansour al-Hsani, Minister of Information.
The magazine actually is meant to be a monthly magazine, and it's dealing with all aspects of publishing. Actually, it has topics dealing with the sports, also youth, culture, tourism, sports, and you can read anything in this magazine.
The event started with a speech by Muhammad bin Saif al-Rahbi, chairman of the institution. Also visual displays about the institution and traditional arts presented.
The photography book Muscat is very important because, as we know that we've got a tool in everything, in documenting everything. One of the tools is the photographing. So if you look at the book itself, Muscat is full of photographs starting from 1970 until now. So when you go through these photographs, it's just like reading the history of Sultanate of Oman, what it was and what it became.
The chief guest launched the 2 publications. The first is Al-Takween magazine that covers a wide range of topics about Oman and youth. The second is Muscat book that contains more than 400 unique photos about Oman back in the 60s and 70s taken by British photographer. Such cultural achievements will definitely add a lot to the Omani society because they embody the Omani culture, heritage and history. Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai, Muscat.
Expatriates' money transfer formed economic burdens which forced those who make the economic and financial plans in the Sultanate to organize and reduce this. These transfers reached during the first half of this year to 2 billion and 100 million Omani riyals. The statistics also indicated that the total number of the expatriates in the Sultanate until the end of October reached 1,666,000. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation announced that it expected the aviation sector's contribution in GDP to increase during the coming years. It also stressed to continue investing in human resources and qualifying and training Omani youth to operate airports and other air facilities in various governorates of the Sultanate. The authority is seeking to double the efforts to achieve the goals and get benefits from the existing opportunities and increase the contribution of this sector. A number of water projects were discussed by the Municipal Council in the Governorate of Dhahira when it hosted concerned officials from the Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources. The Council also dealt with issues such as choosing sites for the construction of water dams. Technical and engineering criteria that are taken into account for this purpose were discussed. During the meeting, the Council agreed to start the establishment of 10 dams during the upcoming period in the wilayas of Ibri, Yanqul and Lank. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Sheikh Saif bin Hamyar al-Shahi, Governor of Dhahira. Within the context of joint cooperation between government institutions and higher education private institutions, the Ministry of Social Development signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the University of Nizwa regarding implementation of developing and enhancing childhood programs in addition to training female supervisors on children nurseries, institutions, preschools and babysitters. The agreement on behalf of the Ministry of Social Development was signed by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Badr al-Ma'wali, Undersecretary of the Ministry, on behalf of the University of Nizwa by Dr. Ahmed bin Khalfan al-Rawahi, Vice Chancellor of the University. A number of wilayas of the Sultanate had rainfalls over various intensities. Moderate to heavy rains fell in the wilayas of Nizwa and Iski in the Governorate of Dakhiliya, causing some tributaries to overflow. In the Governorate of Dhahira, moderate rain fell in the wilaya of Ibri, making some wadis flow. And now for the general weather forecast. Generally clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the northern parts of the Sultanate, with cloud accumulation over the coastal areas with chances of rainfalls. Winds will be northeasterly light to moderate along the coast of the Sea of Oman, while it will be northwesterly light to moderate in the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the coast will be moderate to the maximum wave height of 2 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Greetings of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, the custodian of the two holy mosques, are conveyed by His Excellency, the Minister of the Interior. Honored by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar presides over the Sultan Qaboos University's graduation ceremony of the 26th batch. And overall general expenditure of the state's general budget decreases by 5.7% during the first 9 months of the current year. With that, we come to an end to tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.